Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahu bi ihsanin ila yawmiddin. Amma ba'd. What's going on, everybody? This is ER with the People's Champion, here to drop some wisdom and knowledge on you. Today, guys, I came across a reply or a comment on Facebook, and it kind of disheartened me just a little bit because the comments came from a person that I have great care for. This individual, we went to school together, we played on the same soccer teams. His father was a very instrumental person in my life in that he opened me up to science and was an excellent teacher and was there for me. He was there for me. And so the comments kind of hurt a little bit, but this is part of life, and this is part of being on social media. You come across things that hurt, and it's just a matter of how you deal with it, And so this is the way that I've decided to deal with it. I've pretty much made it my mission, to use social media as a means to clarify any misconceptions about Islam. And I'm not doing this in a proselytizing mode. I'm not here to try to convert people. I'm more concerned with removing enemies. I would rather have people not be an enemy of Islam. I would love for people to convert, of course, but that's not realistic. It's not realistic that everybody will convert. So my goal is minimum that people have the correct information about Islam, and people don't spread misinformation, lies, hate, these kind of things. And also to kind of make it somewhat personal, because a lot of you know me. You grew up with me, you know what kind of person I am, you know my family. So it's not like I'm a stranger, and I'm open. If you do have these doubts, you can always reach out to me, and this is what I'm here for. So this is not going to be an attack on Islamophobes or bigots. This is not going to be an attack on Christianity, because my mother's a Christian, so I'm not in the business of trying to hurt my mama's feelings and whatnot, attacking people. That's not the goal here. The goal here is just, to start a conversation, whether it's with that particular individual or with others. Now, with that particular individual, it is my duty to respond to some of these accusations, because my honor and the honor of Islam and the Muslims necessitates this, that if things are mentioned about my religion that are untrue, then it's upon me as a Muslim to clarify these things. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us, "Balaghu anni walau ayah." Inform the people about me, even if it's an ayah. So it is my duty to make these clarifications. So some of the issues that were brought up that I want to clarify revolve around violence in Islam, jihad and terrorism, taqiyya, the fact that this very complex Arabic word is showing up in the everyday language of evangelist Christians is strange to me. It's not something that I've probably used that word maybe 10 times in my life. Taqiyya and honesty in Islam. Women's rights and freedom, that's a big one. And the whole issue of Islam is a works-based religion and Christianity is a grace or faith-based religion, so therefore, obviously, Christianity is better. So I'm going to talk about all of these topics, kind of on a surface level. I'm not going to get very academic, because this is not the crowd I'm speaking to. What the ultimate goal here is just to build trust, because I'm putting it out there that the Islamophobes, the haters, the bigots, what they're doing is just spreading hate. And the sad thing from my point of view is that they're spreading hate from a very ignorant point of view. That as a Muslim, when we hear these points, it's very sad because we live in an age of technology, of information, that a lot of these things could be quickly put into Google or ChatGPT and it'd be clear like this is foolishness. I mean, it's almost as if somebody is trying to, make you believe that fairy tales are real. I don't know, to me it's very disheartening. So let's talk about this first claim about Islam is violent and the Muslims are violent and they're trying to bring violence to America. By the way, let me just mention this. According to Wikipedia, Muslims make up about 1.24% of the population. 1.24% of the population. I really hope you guys understand how small of a percentage that is. Regardless, trying to equate Islam with violence is foolishness. We're not saying that Muslims don't commit acts of violence. We're not saying this at all. We admit it, and when it happens, we disavow ourselves from those actions and we condemn the person who does it. But Islam does not encourage us to acts of violence, just to be violent for no reason. No. But I think what worries people, especially our Christian brethren out there, is that in the Quran, it does stipulate how we utilize violence. Yes, the Christians are so used to always talking about turn the cheek, although, honestly, throughout history, we've never seen real examples of Christians actually doing that. I mean, if you really look at, we're not going to get into that. Anyway. So, the Quran does legislate how we engage in war, because war is something that is going to happen when you have societies. You're going to have people who are against it. You're going to have people who are going to want to attack. So Islam does have rules in how we engage in this. And it goes so deep that, if we have to engage in war, we're not allowed to attack the women and the children and the old. We're not allowed to attack the livestock. We're not allowed to burn down crops and cut down trees. There's an ethics involved. There's an ethics involved. If you look back here behind me, these are my books of Islamic law and jurisprudence. In each one of those books, there's going to be a section about how war is supposed to be gauged and when it should be, when it should not be. There's ethics behind it. But there is nothing in any of these books that say, go out and just attack people because they disagree with us. It's just not there. It's not there. The mentioning of ISIS and different Islamic terrorist groups, you need to understand how fringe those people are. If the Muslims in America represent 1.24% of the population, then the amount of people that subscribe to the ideology of ISIS in America may be 0.06, if that. The point is that these people are a fringe criminal group. We disavow ourselves from them, and this is not Islam. Many people have made that clear over and over. This is not Islam. Terrorism, these acts of violence against the innocent and things like this is not Islam. Regarding the second point that we want to discuss regarding taqiyya and the issue of lying in order to get your objectives implemented, I think some of these, should I call them, we'll just call them Islamophobes, since we don't have, I want to say Islamic haters, because I'm sure they're not. The word phobe means that you're afraid of, I don't know. Okay, we'll just use Islamophobe. We'll just stick to that. So they have this belief that we as Muslims, we believe that we're allowed. So first of all, they believe that we inherently are violent and we want to bring violence to America. And so because of this, It's an abhorrent ideology that nobody will accept. So therefore, we have a pillar, I guess, in our religion where we're allowed to lie in order to hide these ideologies, and we're putting on a happy face with the people, but inside our hearts, we're angry and we want to bomb and cut and that. Foolishness. We don't have this. There's no pillar in Islam that supports this. Now, there is an issue whether you're in a life or death situation. You're in a life or death situation, because generally lying is from the major sins in Islam. It is something that a Muslim, if they engage in this, then if they don't repent in this life, then they will have to be punished with hellfire in the afterlife. Now, if you're put in a life and death situation, then yes, it is allowed to lie. I think this is common sense, because Islam is about the preservation of life. There is nothing that I don't think anybody with common sense would disagree with this. Even the most diehard American, if the most diehard American found himself somehow, some way in North Korea, and they put a gun to your head and said, we need you to say that you hate Donald Trump and America and disavow. With that gun to your head, you're going to say whatever they're telling you to say. You're going to say it. Unless you're a fool that you're going to die for no reason when nobody even knows why you died. Ridiculous. Come on, guys. Let's be real. There's nothing in the Sunni tradition of Islam, which is the overwhelming majority of the followers of Islam, where we practice taqiyya, which is veiling, lying in order to accomplish our ulterior motives. We don't have this, guys. We don't have this. If you don't believe me, the Islamic, look, all these books that I got here, all this stuff, it's available online. Okay? It's available online. You can go look and see. Look for taqiyya in the books. You're not going to find it. What you will find is, again, a fringe group. I don't know why the Islamophobes love these fringe groups. I don't know what's up with them. But you'll find there are a fringe group of people who claim to be Muslims. The majority of us do not even accept these people. We don't accept them as Muslims, but, whatever. They have this ideology that, taqiyya is something important to them. But this is, again, a fringe group. This is not the overwhelming Orthodox Sunni understanding of Islam. So we can scratch that off. It's not cool to lie. And again, I implore to your common sense. 1.24% of the population, even if, let's just play your game. Even if Muslims really wanted to come and they wanted to establish Sharia law, as you guys so erroneously love to call it, the Muslims want to implement Sharia law. Ooh, Sharia law. And that 1.24%, they use taqiyya in order to do it. Is it working? It's not working. Realistically, it's not going to work. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. In the 1950s, America was fighting a Cold War with the Soviet Union, and there were communists in America. There were definitely communists in America. That mess didn't work. And you had the powerful, one of the world's superpowers at that time actively supporting this ideology and actively supporting people to infiltrate America on all fronts, civil rights, movies, politics, whatever. And it didn't work. How? I'm just asking, I'm imploring to your intellect here that if what you guys actually believe is the case, if that's what you believe is the case, that all the 1.24% have this ideology, and we're united in this and keeping this thing down low and hiding it from from the rest of the American populace, and that we actually have in our hearts the intention to take over and implement Sharia law, and replace the Constitution with Sharia law. Come on, guys. I'm really trying to, call to your sense of intellect here. It's just it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Another claim is that Islam cannot coexist with Western democracy. I don't see how it cannot. It's been there Islam has been in America since the 20s, and some people say even in the 1800s. It's been there. Had no issues. I think what it is that, and I'm going to get a bit political here. This is white fragility. I think some white people, and especially the white supremacists, and I'm going to call it as it is. That's what I see. Most of these people that have these issues, they're white supremacists, and the black people who are licking the boots of these people, we call them. We call them Uncle Toms. We shouldn't call them Uncle Toms, but you're just bootlickers. We know what you are. You guys were the slaves that were in the house that loved your master, that would die for him. That's who they are. I think what it is that these people see people having a culture that's different from their white culture, what they understand their white culture, and people not wanting that, and this hurts their feelings. This is white supremacist fragility. They're upset because people don't want to assimilate to their white culture. They say assimilate to American culture. What are you talking about? What is American culture? I don't want to assimilate to white culture. It's not really my thing. There's certain aspects of it that is okay, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm an African American. We have our own culture. Are you saying that people should assimilate to that? Listen, regardless, there's nothing in the Constitution that says anybody needs to assimilate to nothing. Okay? People have a constitutional right to do what they want to do. If they're citizens, they do what they want. So if you're butthurt about that, I think you should stop crying. Put on your big boy pants and get over it. This talk about assimilation and all that stuff, it doesn't make sense. Assimilate to what? Assimilate to what? Mexican American culture? Italian American culture? Black American? You see what I'm saying? That's just a very weak point. Okay? Secondly, the Constitution affords people the right to freedom of expression and freedom of religion. So I don't understand how somebody can now say that Islam and Western democracy cannot coexist, because nobody is coming here trying to change the way America does things. The Americans themselves can't change it. Look at what Donald Trump is doing. Donald Trump is pretty much changing the American Constitution as we speak, with more than half the country upset about it. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What assimilation? Assimilate to what? Assimilate to what? Because once you articulate actually what you mean, the white supremacists, that stuff is going to come out. That's really what you mean. That you want people to abandon, their cultural background, their cultural luggage and all these things, and try to be white. That's what you mean. Black people in America never did it. We didn't do it. So why do you expect Muslims to do it? And by the way, this is another, proof that some of these people with these ideologies are kind of ignorant. You guys do know that Muslims, they're not one race, right? You have black Muslims, you have white Muslims. Oh my God, yeah. You got white Muslims from the Appalachian Mountains even, yeah. You have Muslims from all walks of life. So when people start talking about Muslims need to assimilate, it shows again, that white supremacist underlying ideology is there. Because what they think is that Islam is, brown people from over there, not realizing that African Americans in this country make up almost half the Muslim population. So again, assimilate to what? Women, freedom, women's rights, coercion, and all these things, again, and I'm going to just honestly say it now. A lot of the misinformation that these people have unfortunately are coming from the 1970s Iranian revolution and that particular strand of Islam and their regime. Because a lot of these things are foreign to me that they're saying. Taqiyya, the mentioning of, the brother mentioned that your wife has to walk behind you or this. We don't have that in Sunni Islam. You're talking about some fringe Shia groups that believe this, and this is not Islam. You guys see people walking. You see Muslims walking in New York and New Jersey, Chicago. Do you see women walking 10 paces behind there? What are you talking about? So again, it's like you've allowed ignorant people to put information in your head and then you just regurgitate it without doing any research. And it intellectually, it doesn't look good. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. The hijab. A lot of these people, they don't like the hijab. And they're like, the hijab is a sign of repressing women. You guys do know in America, you can't force anybody to do anything. You have white women who accept Islam and they put on the hijab. Who's forcing them? What Taliban force do we have in America that's running around forcing people to wear hijab? I think maybe what it is, some of you people that have these ideologies, you need to get a passport. You need to get some tickets and fly abroad and actually see how other people live. Go and see if what you're talking. Go to UAE. Go to UAE. See if all this stuff that you guys are talking about is there. Tucker Carlson did. He did, and he didn't find all this stuff that you guys are claiming. So there's culture, and then there's a religion, okay? Maybe some people are pointing to the fact that, the Taliban, they make the women wear certain things. Okay, that's the Taliban, that's there. If it was the religion of Islam, it wouldn't just be the Taliban doing it. The Taliban, by the way, that's a cultural issue that these guys have, to make women wear the burqa. This is a culture issue with them. And it works in their society. Nobody was complaining about it. Nobody was complaining about it. You can't try to enforce your belief system on others. Nobody in Afghanistan was complaining about it, and the Americans, you see what? You saw how that ended up. That wasn't a good look. That didn't turn out very well. But the same thing in America, to try to equate a Muslim woman putting on hijab as a form of oppression is utter foolishness. It's utter foolishness. Because, if the mother of Jesus, Mary, she comes back and she's with us in these times, what do you think she's going to be more comfortable dressed as? You think she's going to be more comfortable dressed like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, or she's going to be more comfortable dressed like Khadija, the Muslim girl? Come on. Let's keep it real. Your grandmother. You want your grandmother walking around, if it's okay to be walking around half naked, you want your grandma walking around in a Cardi B thought uniform? Or would she look better as Muslim girl Halima from down the way? These kind of things, guys, okay, and I'm not gonna say that there maybe is some guy out there that doesn't force his daughter or his wife to wear hijab. But if this thing was a part of Islam to force people, go look at the Muslim world. Go look in Egypt. Guys, again, it's intellect. Turn on the television. Watch international news. Do you see every Muslim abroad covering her hair? Come to UAE. Is everybody covering their hair? Go to Jordan. Go to Libya. Go to Morocco. Come on. Use the intellect, guys. In America, there itself, you don't see every Muslim girl covering. So if forcing people was part of the religion, then come on. And last but not least, let's talk about this issue of Islam being a religion of works and Christianity is that of grace and faith. So therefore, Christianity has to be the better option. You know, when I was in university reading about Islam and thinking about accepting Islam, this was one of the oldest tropes that the Christian missionaries would come to me. They would come with these little pamphlets and try to say, yeah, basically Islam is Judaism, which you guys, you love them so much, you know, that Islam is all about works and doing things and just trying to work for deeds. Well, again, you're in error. I have a whole section here, Islamic Creed, where this refutes this claim. First of all, we are encouraged to do good deeds because this is something as a human. This is a psychological trigger that the more good things you do, it does make you feel good and you're more inclined to do more good. But in our theology, it doesn't mean because a person is doing all sorts of good things that he automatically has a key to paradise. That's not how it works in Islam. It's not how it works. In Islam, we believe that God is the ultimate decider of who enters paradise or who doesn't. And it's not just based on the things that you do. It's not just based on this. It's also, we have a faith paradigm. It's not just about the works. We have a whole science within Islam that deals with faith and how to build up your spiritual awareness of God and how to build up faith. So it's not just works. It's not just about prayer. It's not just about fasting. It's not just about doing, which I don't think you should have a problem with these things. There shouldn't be a problem with a person wanting to do deeds, good deeds. But there's also a spiritual faith dimension that we have. But ultimately, the difference between the Muslims and the Christians would be that the Muslim will never say that I am guaranteed paradise, because ultimately it is Allah's decision. It's God's decision. We don't know whether we've done something in the past that was horribly atrocious. We don't know. Something we overlooked. We don't know. But Islam is based on faith and works together. It's not just one. So, it'd be better for you individuals, because lying is also a sin in Christianity. It would be better for you not to spread lies. If you don't know, just say, I don't know. Say, I don't know. But it's much better for you to do your research about this religion before you go and start spreading lies, because ultimately this is going to hurt not just the Muslims, but it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you because the hellfire is real. The hellfire is real. And there's a place for liars in the hellfire. Ultimately, all of this discussion that we're having here, this is just a discussion. I can't force a person to believe what I believe. But what I do try to do is to present information that maybe you did not know and try to alleviate the lack of understanding, the ignorance, these kind of things. Try to alleviate that from those people immediately around me or those people who are connected to me somehow. That's all we're doing here, guys. I respect all of you, especially my folks from King, North Carolina. I have deep love for you people. Not just King, North Carolina, Walnut Cove too, Germantown, Pilot Mountain, all of y'all, South County. I have a deep love for you. And I would love nothing more than for this message of Islam to reach all of you. What you do with that message is up to you. But at least I want the message to be out there. You have the correct information. You decide what to do with it. But hopefully this is a step towards individuals not spreading lies or misinformation about Islam. Again, if anything I said you're in doubt about, you can go online and research and check to see what I'm saying is true. I'm telling you that the Muslims in America do not have any intention to come there and replace the Constitution with Sharia law. That's not gonna happen. It's not happening in the Middle East, guys. If it's not happening in the Middle East, how's it gonna happen in America? As usual, folks, I leave you with smile. Stay classy. Have a good day.